Welcome to VINDAL'S concept. Today we are looking at Physics 401 elementary particles. And we are going to be looking at the few things like define elementary particles, explain how the particles are produced, state the equipment used to detect these particles, state the properties of these particles, group these particles into their various families. And these are the things we are going to look at. And I would like you to pay attention. Okay, elementary particles are those particles which are not known to have subatomic structure. That is, it is not known to have anything within them, any smaller particles. These elementary particles have no measurable internal structure. That is, they are not composed of anything. So this is really talking about that inside elementary particles there is nothing else that you can see. That is the smallest thing that can ever be. I'm afraid because these things keep changing, but for now it has no other particle within them. And some of those elementary particles are these. Now if you look at this, like the chemistry, they have their own periodic table, and I want to let you know that this is standard models of elementary particles, which may likely be the kind of periodic table for physics, but then we used to call it standard models. In these standard models, you are going to see some of the particles that we call in elementary particles. Like then we have the one we call quarks, and we also have the one we call leptons. We are going to look them individually. And then, how are these produced? They are produced in a high energy chamber, accelerators, where fast moving particles collide to generate other lighter particles. So in this area now we are looking at those chambers where fast moving particles, when they collide with each other, they now form other ones. In this part we are going to look at a kind of equation that has to do with this formation of particles. Now, if you look at this equipment, these are equipments which can be used to detect those elementary particles, like the cloud chamber, ionization chamber, and many other chambers as they are listed there. They are the things or the chambers where this, like the first one we are going to look at is the one they call Gauge-Muller tube. This tube, if you look at it very well, you know that this tube has a very low pressure potential difference across the ends, and then with the metal body and then anode within it. So in this system, we are not explaining how this works, but I want you to know that this is one of the chambers that we discussed where those elementary. Now, what are those properties of these particles? The properties of these elementary particles are not really specific, but then we look at them in terms of charge, and we look at them in terms of mass, and also we look at them in terms of their spin. So those are the things that make up the properties of these particles. Now, these properties, like when we go to different kinds of elementary particles, we now know them. Like for example, this one, we have the muon. Muon has a mass of .11 and the electric charge of -1, and then they have strong charge of 0 and weak charge of -1/2. I also have mu neutrino. These are some of the properties of these particular elementary particles. I am sure that these ones are those fermions which we are talking about, which has to do with the quark and the leptons. Now, families of elementary particles. The first family include the quark and the leptons, and this family we call them leptons, the first one. Second one are the hadrons, which are include of mesons and baryon. Then we have the one we call hyperson. The last two are in the family called boson. Now if you look at this table on the screen, you see the leptons and you see the quarks. And these are the particles that belong to a particular family. Thank you for watching.